When installing your new HXU-1 HDMI over IP matrix solution, you should take the following steps. As you open up all the packaging, label your transmitters and receivers as simply or as complexly as you like. I started off with T1 through 4 and R1 through 4 for transmitters and receivers. Then as you open each transmitter, you'll find there's a little dial that requires a tiny screwdriver to change the setting up. And those settings, you should pick a channel for each. I went simple once again with channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 to match transmitters 1, 2, 3, and 4. That channel selection dial is essentially giving that transmitter its own unique identification and, as a result, its own independent source. Once you've done so, install all of your devices, connecting everything but power. Your HDMI connections, your network connections, any USB, IR, RS-232, or any other accessory connections that you're using. Make all of those terminations and connections, and then go through and power up all of your transmitters and receivers. Finally, power up your main network switch that's allowing you to control all these devices. And here's where we're going to change a little bit. In the instruction manual, you'll find that the recommendation is to connect all of these, download Stream Control Panel, the PC management software, and then go through and use Bonjour to find all the devices. Unfortunately, Bonjour really kind of only works completely once on that first time, and if you make any mistakes or make any changes, it starts to get complex. What I recommend instead is leave the HDMI input to each of your transmitters unplugged. Power up your entire system, and you'll see on the displays here that the display comes up in the bottom right corner with the IP address of the receiver, which is connected to that particular display, as well as the host device, which it is looking for, host device being your source or transmitter. So once you've connected these, leaving the HDMI from your transmitters unplugged and turned everything on each HXU-1 there is a channel up and down. By using the channel up and down on each of my 4 receivers, I'm going to go to the 4 channels I've set up, channels 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll see an on-screen display come up to tell you what channel it's actually on. Every device will default to channel 0. That is done specifically such that you can connect this as a point-to-point extender with absolutely no web or computer setup. So as simple as can be is the default setting. Once I've set each of these to a different channel, and in this case I'm going to set them to the channel that I want displayed on each particular television. Now you'll find in the bottom corner where once you had just a local IP address, that local IP address being the receiver connected to that display, now the third line of this, which actually says remote IP address, becomes active, and that remote IP address on the third line in the bottom right will actually be the IP address of the transmitter that's chosen by channel. Once you've selected these and have all of them showing on your displays, grab a pad of paper and a pen. And as simple as it may seem, and maybe even a little old-fashioned, write down all of your IP addresses and which transmitter and receiver has each, and it will make the Stream Control Panel setup incredibly simple. Now for testing's purposes, once I've done all of this and selected these channels, although I have not done any of the setup in Stream Control, I can now plug in the HDMI cable on each of the transmitters And you'll find within a matter of a moment or two that the displays begin to populate. I'm using several sources here. I have a computer connected with our VGA HDMI adapter, as well as 2 Blu-ray players and a couple of cable boxes. And now they spring to life. If you follow up with us in just a moment, on the next video I will show you how to then start to manage the stream control software.